I have some shitter talk today, but I'm not going to put kind of a special face trying to impress people that I know what I say. This is a topic that it is important for some people. Other people think their topic is important. Like if I look at the let's say, president of the United States, he want to say something about himself because he considered that's very important for people in the United States. If I look at someone, a truck driver, when he want to say something, he will think that whatever he want to say is very important for other people. Um, this topic is mostly related to women. And I want to talk about men receiving wrong signals. I'm a guy. If you see, I'm not shaved. It tells you I'm a guy. Some people are guys, but since they don't have much of a facial hair and other male specifics, you don't know if you're talking to a guy or a woman. And such people have a mind of a guy, but appearance of and some maybe voice or some other characteristics of a female. And it's very easy for women to get friendly with those guys. And I can tell you something, a guy is a guy. When it's about sexual behavior, a guy is a guy. I mean, some guy has the knobs turned up to another level, other guys have the sexual knobs turned down. And it's very difficult to figure out who you deal with. Let's say if you are a woman and if you're not interested in any sex at the time, so you're not open, your mind is shut down for that topic. Um, you think like a woman, of course, and you don't know what to expect. And also, if you had a previous experience, like some bad experience with guys, it's not good for you to be on guard all the time, like to be worried what this guy is going to say, what this guy is going to do, because that is creating stress, and stress uh, triggers the body to create cortisol, and you may deposit some of the fat that comes from your food. And stress also lead to some frustration and other illnesses. Some people get cancer. So it's good to be relaxed, but how to be relaxed when you have someone around, let's say office coworker or a work partner or even a life partner, and you don't know what that guy is going to do. So again, it's not healthy for a woman to be in self-defense mode, or expecting something to happen, and that tells you that the woman had some sort of a previous trauma, and she still have some scars, so she has to deal with that. But those, they generally stay away from the guys, or they will look for signs, or so, like even talking to other people, they will look for information about the guys they work around, so they can kind of gain trust and work and live without a fear. So guys are not like grizzly bears ready to attack you all the times, or ready to put you down and rape you, nothing like that. But they are jerks, like you go to the store and someone may steal your purse, or it may steal your wallet or something else. So things can happen, and that's the society. Long time ago, people were doing worse stuff than these days. These days, people abstain or refrain themselves from doing stuff because of the laws, because of the cops, because of society pointing finger at them, like a shaming. And these societies, especially here in United States or in or Canada or other Western countries, the guys behave way better. Even they have some urges and some pushes, internal pushes controlled by the testosterone or other hormones, male hormones, but they are able to control themselves. And education have a big role in it. Let me go back to what I was trying to say. Um, there are women who want to go to a next step in whatever they do. Let's say if they are in working in music, they want to go to the next step. So in the Western society culture, this attitude, they call it career. Okay, I'm building my career, I want to advance, I want to move up in my career. What career means, I don't know, making more money or getting to the top. It's not really about cultivating or using your talent, but is moving anyone else away from you and out of your way, and you get to the top. What you get at the top, you don't know, but you know that there is more money, and the reward is money. And other people, they want to cultivate their talent and they want to go to the next step because the next step allows them to express their talent. So that's for those who love what they do. And that means career for them is doing something at another level where you can express yourself, you can learn, you can become a better version of yourself, right? But there are people who just go to training schools and stuff, and they do whatever they have to do in order to get to a position on a level in a society that makes them more money and give them more control, more the sense of more significance and power. So it's nothing about the talent. It's just about controlling other people, being a control freak, feeling significant because of some insecurities. So those people call that push or self-push. They call it career. Okay. And so there are women who see some guys, especially guys who climbed up the ladder, the social ladder, including in a company, like a corporate ladder, and got to the top, and they appear to be powerful. So I'll discuss about what means to be powerful in different recording, different video, but for now, let's call, like everyone else, people who have power. Okay, so there are women who they know they want to get to another level, and how you make it into the guy's world, where the guys, they either use politics, they use networking, connections, they use money, or they use physical strength in order to move to the next level. And women don't have those advantages. Like if you start as a woman, and I feel sorry about that for those women. If you start from nothing, if you don't have parents who give you a ton of money to start your career and your life, you start out of from nothing, and you have no money. Nobody gives a shit about you. Nobody cares about you. And if you are beautiful, people care about you. I mean, guys care about you because they want something. They want to put you in their bed. Otherwise, if you don't have that pretty face, they don't care about you. So if you look at women who are not that pretty, pretty from our standards, from our image of what is pretty, what is beautiful. Because if beautiful could mean different things, I look at a beautiful mind, but there are most of guys, especially guys who are ready for sex at any times, they have the stereotype how the woman should look like. And if the woman is part of that stereotype, the guy sees that as a good target, as a potential target. And the woman, let's say there is a woman from different country, and in that country she is part of the stereotype of beauty, but she goes to United States, and the skin color, the eye, the lip size, the body shape, the breast size, they don't fit into that stereotype of American beauty, and they are not attractive. And that woman, if she comes into United States or Canada with no money, and she have no education, I can tell you she will end up into a labor manufacturing job or some restaurant cleaning job. Because I have the chance to go around and see lots of businesses, and I see who does what, and I see who got to the top, if he's a female, if he's a male. I see the attitude, the way of talking. I study people because that's the way I do my work. It's not just executing my program and be mindless or something like that. So my mind is going all the times, but not only about what I do for work, but also I study the environment, and it helps me to help the customer better because I understand their needs. So I'm fully awake or fully open, and I see who does and to go to the top. And I look at the females, and even it sounds how to say, my comment doesn't sound right, but if a female is very educated, she may make it almost to the top. If she is beautiful and educated, she can make it closer to the top. If she has money and educated and beautiful, she can get closer to the top. But if she has a character of being aggressive, being one of those who know what she wants, yeah, she can make it to the top. So it requires a number of ingredients, and a large number of ingredients for a woman to go to the top than for a guy. A guy can be ugly, nasty. He doesn't have to look good. He can have a big belly, be fat, but as long as he has a number of attributes, he can make it to the top. So the guys have some advantages when you compare them to women. And again, it's not a fair world, but that's the design. So women were designed for certain tasks, and even I sound the way you don't like, and guys were designed for different tasks. And now with the modern world, when push for money and the need to pay bills and the need to have a, let's say, a better life, to copy some American model, women are being forced out of the house and pushed out. And of course, lots of them, they take their lives in their own hands. They don't want to depend on the guys as a provider. But lots of women still don't want to get out of the house and go to work. But there are social pressures and needs that the woman has to be mom, has to be wife, has to be also provider. And also lots of women end up being divorced because they don't want to accept the guys to be the only provider. They want to show that they have power and independence, and they want to show that they are as good as the guys, so proving some sort of a points and self-worth make them have a big ego and not being easy when it's about marriages and fights and arguments. So lots of women divorce because of those reasons. So in any case, going back to the signs and signals. So a woman, when she see that she wants to get to the top and she see that she doesn't have enough or opportunities or chances, and she sees that people treat her as a woman and she doesn't have equal chances like a guy, she would use a guy who has a position or a big name or some power in that social environment, to use that guy and use her body or use her female skill to climb with that guy, climb on the ladder, because she's partner of the guy. She would partner up a powerful guy or an influential guy just to get what she wants. And I'm trying to shorten this video. So what I said, it's common knowledge. It's nothing new, nothing unusual, uncommon. Probably you already know if you are old like you have my age. Now there is a YouTube channel I signed up for maybe a year or 2 years ago. There was a woman who went to a temple in India. Not a temple, a kind of a meditation, prayer, celebration place, like a place built by a guy who claimed that he's a guru. And I found this guy through some searches on YouTube and stuff. I was looking for certain information, and I got to that guy's channel, and he is Indian, lots of like a heavy East Indian accent, and he's speaking English, but maybe 90% of the time he's speaking English, but he mixes with East Indian words, and so I could understand what he was trying to promote or say to the audience. And he had a live audience all over the internet, all across different centers in different cities of the world. So he had some center in Vancouver, some followers built some centers in their local town, and they helped him to broadcast his messages to the world. So he had a bunch of followers. He was not as well known as Sadhguru. It's another guru, but this Sadhguru, he is a better public speaker, and he appears to have a better type of wisdom. So the other one I'm talking about, what he was saying, he was like a pretty wise guy. It should suggest that he is a wise guy, and maybe he had these thoughts written somewhere or pre-recorded or something. Doesn't matter. He appeared very smart guy, smart and wise. If I look at that guy, his characters were the body characters were touching some female characters. So I could see he had some breasts. His voice was kind of a higher pitched, like a tenor type, was nothing to baritone or low voice, anything like that. And he had no facial hair, and for some time I thought he's a transsexual, trans something, his genetics were not tuned, the knobs were not all the way to the guy or all the way to the woman, were kind of in the guy side, but with some the knobs were tuned with some female. There are lots of people like that. But later I realized, that's a guy. he's a man, but he never said. So according to the name, I could not figure out is that a East Indian woman name or a guy's name. And I think he took himself a different name, some sort of a spiritual name. And so I'm following that guy. I watched a bunch of his YouTubes and lives, streams and stuff. So at some point I got kind of bored of, like, not really pleased with what he does. Like, I was attracted at some point and I thought, wow, I want to go and see this one in India, whatever, I was pumped up. But the more I was watching, the more I realized, he has a bunch of locals, like East Indians, like that was his audience. Some white people, of course, but most of them were locals, and they were doing some East Indian dancing, and I thought, oh, yeah, you know what, I don't feel connected to that. So if he talks something about spirituality, spiritual way of thinking and stuff, some wisdom and uh, guru stuff, yeah, I would be interested to stick with that channel. But slower and slower, I kind of ignored that guy, and I did not forget about it, but it was kind of on a background, on a standby. So I thought, okay, maybe one day I'll watch something. So last week I did watch something. He had a live broadcast, and I did not feel I want to watch for too long, maybe 10 minutes or something. And when he was not talking, was mostly music, and he was talking a little bit. But today. YouTube recommended something from a woman I subscribed to, and I look at this woman and I thought, oh, I remembered her face. She was part of that guy, that guru crew. Like she was recording lots of videos for him. Like she was promoting, talking very elevated type of thoughts about this guy. So this is a washroom talk. In case you wonder what's this thing here, right? So I can record somewhere else, but washroom talk is like don't listen to me unless you have nothing else to do, or you are curious about the topic, how women give wrong signals to the guys. So, okay, so going back to what I was trying to say. So I'm watching this woman, and in the past I watched a couple of her videos and I subscribed because I was curious to see, to learn about her experience in that environment, onto that, they call it temple, but it's not a temple, it's just a place of prayer or whatever practice they do there. And I was curious because, like I said, at some point I thought to travel to India and learn about that place and whatever. I was not committed, but I was thinking about. And I don't know, maybe I did not have money, or I listened to my gut feeling, or maybe I thought of my workplace, what to do, for a couple of weeks to take off like that and go. Maybe I thought of my family, I don't know, but I did not go. So I signed up with that woman channel to learn about what she has to say. But like I said, she was heavily promoting that guy's channel and activity, and she appeared to me that she was aspiring to get closer to the guy, because she was so into, I don't know, she talked to the camera, or she talked to her audience with such enthusiasm and such I don't know, she put that guy on a pedestal, and I thought, okay, maybe the guy has such a value, and especially the way he was talking on the camera, I thought, yeah, the guy looks smart, and I like the guy. And so today she posted a video. She was interviewing another young guy, maybe in his 25th years, um, and they started bashing or like talking bullshit about this guru guy from India. And she said so she went through some trauma. She went back to the United States, and she remodeled her house and or her apartment, and such a trauma, whatever. Then she interviews over the internet a guy who used to be part of his personal crew of that guru, and he was into that guru guy apartment, like inside of his room and stuff. And she's mentioning about some rape, like how that guy was raping some woman, and how he invited her several times in his room, and then she said, this guy asked me to give him a blowjob, and he asked me to do that, to masturbate him or something. Then she's talking to the other guy on the other half of the screen, the young guy. He said, "Oh yeah, he invited me in his bedroom so many times, and I had to give him massages, and then he led my hand towards his dick, and then he asked me to do this and that and that, and then I refused at some point." So they suggest that they went to up to certain point with their sexual encounter with this guy. Then for some reason they thought, okay, I have enough or something, or maybe that young guy who said he was so traumatized, like he suffers so much of trauma because of that guru or that guy, this East Indian guy, asked him to have sex together or something, and that guy was suggesting that East Indian guy suggested that people should be bisexual. Then she's starting to talk, because they were talking back and forth. She's talking about how that guy told her to be bisexual, and he suggested a threesome, and she's a straight woman. She doesn't want to open up to her lesbian side and something, so she was complaining about. So then she talks about, don't take me like I'm one of those coming out, like those in Me Too movement. And to me, she appeared one of those, because, like I said, in the past she was trying to go to the top, and I don't know if she had a clear goal in mind. What happens if she gets close to this guy? Okay, so is there more honey? Is there money? Is there free roof and free food? What happens if she gets close to that guy, and let's say she associate her name, because she was a nobody, or just a woman like I am. I'm a guy and I'm a nobody. I'm just a guy, and I'm not interested to build a name, a career, or something like that. But she was one of those. I could sense that she was trying to get close to this guy, to him, record about him, and do and that, and be noticed, and then get closer, get in his favors, and probably she had a very good strategy, because she had a bunch of followers and a bunch of people watching her videos, and probably that East Indian guy, who is very smart, like I said, noticed her, called her to be around closer, because these gurus, if they are, let's say, if they listen to their sexual side, they are not going to be alone and how to say it, stay away from sex just because they are famous, or they have a big crowd. Following crowd. So she got what she wanted. So she got close to this guy. Maybe she became more famous with her YouTube channel because she was associating herself with a famous person who had probably hundreds of thousands of followers around the world. And those numbers on YouTube, don't look at those numbers, because let's say if he has 500,000 subscribers, doesn't mean those are followers. Those follow the guy, but doesn't mean they follow only that guy. There are people like on Facebook, they have like hundreds of friends, the same thing. Those people, those subscribers follow each one maybe another 100 people alike. So it doesn't mean that if he has 500,000 subscribers, he has 500,000 followers. It's kind of a fake idea that makes them feel good, having such a big number of subscribers. But in the reality, maybe they have 5,000 followers, dedicated to be listening to this guy only, go to his temple or a worship place and pay that fee of $10,000 or something like that to become something, get some energy, whatever that guy promised. Because like I said, I almost fell for something like that. And so this woman now, probably she was trying to do something else, because that's the nature of human nature. People always want to move to the next step because it's part of their growth. So there is a rule of life I learned from one of great public speeches, Anthony Robbins. He said, in life you grow or you go down or you die. So when you stop growing, you die. You start dying, I would say. And probably she got to the top. Let's say she got to this guy's favor next to him. She was one of his 10 women, 20 women, whatever, because she was complaining that this guy was calling different women and young girls and kids and stuff. And she got to that level, and maybe she asked for more. What she asked for, I don't know. I have no idea. I did not watch. I watched maybe 20% of her video, and then I thought, you know what, forget about it, because she's one of those, like lots of actresses who want to get to the top, but because it's such a intense competition into that field of activity, into that industry, they have to push other people out of the way, and you have to play dirty sometimes. You have to play politics, and it's not a fair fight or fair work ethics there all the times in order to make it to the top. And same thing with this one. Maybe she asked for something and she didn't get it, and that guy wanted something else, or maybe he could not offer what she wanted, and he found an opportunity to have a good, I could say, good-looking girl, American woman, 25, 30 years old woman, coming very close to him, and that woke up his sexual side. And now she is complaining that, you know what, he has a very tiny penis, only 1 inch long. That's a medical condition. I feel sorry about that. I feel sorry for him. But I wrote a police report, and I wrote in the police report the size of his penis, and so they can verify and they can prove that I'm not just talking, but what I'm saying about his abuse and sexual abuses and rape, statutory rape or whatever is true. So she thought that if she tell the cops that this guy has a small penis, and they will interrogate this guy, will ask the guy to measure his penis and say, oh yeah, she actually went into his bedroom and she is telling us the truth. And it was sad and funny, I would say, at some points. But like I said, I could not watch the whole thing because I thought she was not happy. That guy, the young guy, she was talking to through the internet. Like I said, half screen was her face, half screen was that guy's face. And I'm looking at the guy. He's one of those dudes who goes to the gym, and actually he said, you know what? 10 years I was playing football, American football, with good shape, and I was going to the gym every day. But I came here into this shitty place where people spit on the floor, people is shit everywhere in the bathroom, and stinks. You know, there's no hygiene, and this guy asked me to do all sorts of physical labor, and I have a hernia and a broken disc in my back, you know, and he was kind of complaining. So the way I see it, probably this guy asked, I mean this guru guy, this East Indian guy, ask people to do certain chores for a reason, like to get them mentally stronger. I don't know, everyone has their own ways of strengthening other people, and some people don't like it. And or maybe that guy just tried to indoctrinate these followers and make them obedient and dumb and stuff like that, because that's the this guy was complaining. He was saying that, you know, he is trying to make us follow all these orders, and he had some personal crew who was spying on everyone, and he had control of everyone else. And so it was more of a complaining and crying and trying to tell the world and the followers that this East Indian guy is not the actual guru, is a charlatan, is a crook. And so I thought, you know what, I don't like to listen things about other people, especially if there is no measurable truth. But I thought to share this video, this recording. This is a kind of self-talk, like a washroom talk, before I go back to clean up the desk and go home. This woman gave signals to that East Indian guy, and she thought that he would not make any sexual advances, because she started to trust that guy, and that guy claimed or told followers that his sexual desire is turned off. He would not touch a woman. He's like, you know, those saints or those higher like meditators or yogis, you know, they can control their body, emotions and urges, and they can shut off the whole sexual needs and the whole sexual system. They can do that with their mind power, their way of controlling their emotions. But some people, you know, they are not at that level yet. And so she gave strong signals that she wants to be around him. But she didn't state her intentions. Like, you know what, I want to be close to you or closer so I can get some personal favors. She didn't state that. So she came with some nice smiles. She came fully open, appearing like an easy target. And now you have a guy who has a dick, and you have a guy who has a sexual system built in that is connected to the brain, and the brain listens to the body. and the body has hormones, sexual hormones, and the body tells the brain, da 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 da, it's time, and the brain looks using the five senses, especially with the eyes, and connects to experiences in the memory, and the memory says, you know what, woman, body, looks good, and means this is emotion. This emotion is a good feeling emotion, sexual emotions. And you retrieve from the memory those emotions because you had sex before, and you see that woman, you see the signs the woman gives you, the signals, and you see, okay, she's ready, she's for me, she's open. And then the next step, you have these signals, you have the memory, you put them together, and now you think of future. Means immediate future means a plan for action. And the guy goes to his next, because he's one of those, if he managed to have so many thousands of followers, like a president of a country, or a leader of a religious group, or a leader of a big company, they are goal oriented, they know what they want, they know how to handle people. So this guy, the same thing, it's a human nature, and he enabled those actions that took him to the next step. So he asked her to come to his room, and she thought, oh yeah, probably, but she knew, I don't think she was dumb to accept that invitation into that guy's room, thinking, oh yeah, no, he's sexually dead, he won't do nothing, he will just initiate me into some sort of a spiritual journey or something. No, I don't think it was anything like that. I think she was just how to say it, I think she was disappointed that did not get what she wanted, or maybe she thought that if she is going to sleep with this guy and be one of his wives or his lover or whatever, now she is at the top of that cult, because she claimed that this is not a religious organization, it's some sort of a cult, a religious cult, and it's a dangerous religious cult or something. So she was complaining, and so probably she thought that, what, I'm going to be the queen of that cult or that religious group, and I'll be at the top. I'm going to have some sort of powers and controlling people. I have all the good stuff because people pay money and they contribute, like any religious organization. People contribute. So these guys have lots of money. So I'm going to have this cool life or something. But since she is complaining that he had a very tiny penis, that it tells me that maybe she got into his bed and she was not satisfied, and now that guy probably had some other weird stuff going on, maybe other wives or maybe kids or whatever, and she was not happy, and she thought, what, from my perspective, I'm not the only one here, like he's going around, he's fucking around all what he see moving. And now she decided, maybe or maybe that guy kicked her out. I don't know. I did not read the whole. I did not watch the whole video. But that's the point. If such a woman give wrong signal to a guy who is very determined, not all the guys will give up. There are guys who, once they grab the prey, they are like pit bulls, and those guys, generally being bullies, end up all the way to the top because they don't let go. So once they take a victim, they get rid of the victim, eat the victim, bite the victim, kill the victim. If it's a woman, he grabs the woman and he have the woman in his bed. But if the woman resists, so a guy might have a choice, might have a chance to get away from a bully, maybe fighting back, maybe getting his little army fighting the big bully, whatever, guys fights. But the woman, especially if by herself, she's trying to fight back, but this guy, he was going to use physical force, and that's the way women get raped, and they don't have the physical strength to uh, how to say, to deal with a brute force of a bully. So girls and women should be trained in schools or other type of environment how to avoid giving signal if they don't have a clear goal related to sex. Let's say if the woman just wants to use the guy, like those actresses complaining about some sort of a big shot, big name in the movie industry. So if they have that's the only goal, they want to be at the top, but they are not interested in offering that guy a reward with their body. If they think that they get a free ride by smiling and um being nice or whatever, uh, they are how to say, they fool themselves. But let's say if they decide that, what, this is a trade, I get this service or I get this benefit, and I have to give something in exchange, money, or but the guys generally want the body, and if the woman is not willing to offer the body to a guy who's ugly or who's too old or who's a jerk or something, then they should